What up, everybody? This is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I have, as you see, a cornucopia, plethora of VHS. And as you see here, I have a wall of VHS right next to me. So if I die in a VHS physical media avalanche, then you'll know this was the last time you ever had seen me alive. So let's get into it. I went to a new flea market, and I'd never been there before, and I was in the area, and I thought, you know what, I've heard about this place around here, and they're always saying they have physical media deals for 50 cents for VHS and $1 for Blu-rays or DVDs and $1.50 for Blu-rays, and then they'll do half off of that. So I was like, yes, please, let me get in on that action. So I bought all these VHS. Everything I bought was VHS. So if you don't like VHS, and you don't like me talking about movies, then this video is not for you. But I got everything here for 11 bucks. And I think maybe just one or two of these would pay for everything. Plus, I'm going to get some money in my account on eBay, which I always love. But there's a little bit of everything in here. There's cartoons, there's horror, there's wrestling, there's drama, there's action, there is exploitation films, there's all kind of stuff. Cheesy canon films. There's a little bit of everything. So with that being said, let's get right to it. First up is X-Men right here. This is a special edition Beyond Good and Evil X-Men edition right here. This is part 1 to 4. And if you look on the back here, you have Rogue there on the front, but on the back you have Wolverine and Storm and Cyclops and Professor X. I can't remember. Is that Pyro? I think that's Pyro there. So there you have it. And most of these, I believe, are rentals. I did see like a lot of the stickers on the bottom and stickers on the thing, and I will try to remember to show everything. But again, I got each one of these VHS for 50 cents a pop. So not too bad. Next up is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So what is that? 8, I believe. So there you go. Ultimate Fighting Championship, the Ultimate Force. And you have Royce Alger, Christopher Leniger, Tito Ortiz, Dmitry Stepanov, Randy Culture, Guy Mesger, Ensign Inoue, Victor Belfort, Tank Abbott, Stephen Graham, and Tony Halmy. Those are the wrestlers in here. I knew a couple of you guys. I know Tito Ortiz. I know Randy Coultier. And I believe I knew one other guy that they mentioned in here. Tank Abbott. I have heard that name before. So there you have it here. And if I'm not mistaken, Ultimate Fighting Championship is now UFC, or it's like a hybrid of MMA or something. But this is what I used to watch when I was growing up. I remember my dad and my brother and I would go to the local VHS store, the local Piggly Wiggly. Not really a Piggly Wiggly. It was called Roadrunner Video, was the main one. And we would pick up, every time they release a new one, every month or every couple months, they would release a new Ultimate Fighting Championship. And we would like all sit in front of the TV and watch people just beat the snot out of each other. So I'm excited about this one because I'm sure I've never seen any of these fights before. So let's go and watch that. So switching it up a bit, completely different. I believe this is part 3. This is, if you remember the movie from back in the early 80s, It's Alive, I believe it's called. Well, this is Island of the Alive. And it's Alive Part 3 by Larry Cohen. And it's about a demon baby, like a demon, he was like a twin, I believe, of his brother from the first movie. And it's a creature, as you can tell there. It's a little creature right there. And this little demon baby goes around killing everybody that his brother cares about, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen part 1 in forever, but again, as you can see here, I believe this one is a rental from back in the day. So I've never seen this one. I think this is actually kind of hard to find, even on DVD or Blu-ray. Again, maybe not anymore, but I remember I've never seen this in the wild. I've never seen this film. I've never seen it in the wild. So if it is out and about, it's not where I'm at. So there you go. It's Alive. And you see on the back there, it's like a little creature. Meow, meow, meow. Next up, another kind of, I think this is a horror movie. I could be wrong. It kind of gives off a horror vibe, or at least kind of a science fiction, kind of, creepy vibe. It's called The Keep. Now, this is in a clamshell the box was cut. So this was, I believe, also a rental. Oh, no, maybe not. So there's the box of it right there. There's the actual, ouch, I'm cutting my finger. The Keep from 1983. This stars, who is in this? Scott Glenn is in here. Gabriel Byrne. Ian McKellen. Gandalf is in here. And Slash Magneto. Wow, I did not know that. As Dr. Kuza. Directed by Michael Mann, the director who did Heat. Hold on, wait. Michael Mann directed this? Huh. Okay. So anyways, The Keep. So it says a gothic thriller. That was probably the word I was looking for. Which grips you with the combination of horror, romance, and the supernatural. So it takes place in World War II in German-occupied Romania. Then it's the... so anyways, it sounds interesting. I have my VHS TV like right next door to this. Like beep, beep, beep right there. So beep, beep, beep. So we'll be definitely giving that. What I usually do is I buy these VHS, I watch them, then if I really want to keep them for the collection, I put them in my closet, or I keep a lot of things in my closet. Or I put them with my other physical media, and the ones I don't care about are just kind of like, no, I'm going to make good money off of, I'll flip it. Even if I just make $5 or $6 off of it, I got it for 50 cents. So that's what, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a lot on what I make back in it. Next up is probably the one and only kind of horror film by Clint Eastwood. It's Play Misty for Me. If I'm not mistaken, he's like trapped in like a house with like a bunch of women or women folk, and they're trying to kill him. I can't remember. Is Donna Mills in here? Jessica Walter? An Invitation to Terror. And it says, the scream you hear may be your own. So, yeah. So, I've never seen this one before. Here again, this is, I believe, is a rental. There's a barcode there. So, this is a nice clean box. I was surprised. I think this actually goes for a decent coin. So, there you have it. Next up, I've never heard of this film. I only got it because for it looks like an all-black horror film, which is kind of rare in itself. And then it was like a maybe it was like a made for TV or made like a Christian made one. I'm not really for sure because it says Wonderworks Family Movie. So this could be a Christian one. Now that I'm looking at it. It's called The House of Dies Dreer. But the cast is amazing. So you have Moses Gunn, who was in The Neverending Story, which I love. You have Shavar Ross, who was, this is Shavar Ross, and I believe Shavar Ross was in Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe, or Friday the 13th. I can't remember. He's in one of those as one of the guys. Clarence Williams III, which Clarence Williams III is in quite a bit of stuff. Then you have Joe Seneca. I know that name. And then Kadeem Hardison. I think Kadeem Hardison is in A Different World, the TV show from back in the day, the spinoff of The Cosby Show. And so I was like, wow, there's quite a few big name actors and actresses in this movie. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. But then I just now realized it looks like it's like a Christian type of movie because it says Wonderworks Family Movie back here. So I don't know. And it has on the back, say no to sex, drugs, and violence. So I might have got bamboozled on this one, but again, I might have got bamboozled. I might have thought this was going to be like a balls out, black horror film. I was like, ooh, because a lot of these people in this movie have done a lot of stuff in the genre. Anyway, so we'll see. It says score another plus for Wonderworks. This is a family entertainment at the most effective. Obviously, I should have read that because that would have changed my mind. But also, this went for a pretty penny online. I think there was only one sale for this, and it was around $10 or so. All right, I will do it. Next up, completely switching gears again, Cynthia Rothrock, one of my favorite ninja martial arts, karate, kung fu master, who was pretty much the only and first female martial artist throughout the 80s and 90s. In Angel of Fury, right here, she was a B.A. Bad Mama Jamba right here. And then this is, I was like, oh my gosh, did I just get the wrong film? But there is the back. You really got to pay attention when you buy VHS or DVD at a flea market, pawn shop, antique store, because people, first of all, sometimes it's not the right disc, not the right VHS. There's nothing in there. It's like somebody like a homemade VHS is in there instead of the actual film. It's a whole thing. So here you have Cynthia Rothrock in a helicopter kicking some jabroni in the face with a gun. It kind of covers all the highlights. I'm trying to see if there's anybody. Peter O'Brien, that name sounds familiar. Tanaka, I think Tanaka is Dr. Tanaka. He was the one that was in Blade Runner, and he was also in, I think he played Odd Job, if I'm not mistaken, and 007. I think I was Professor Tanaka, Dr. Tanaka. But anyway, so I'm a huge fan of Cynthia Rothrock. I love 90s and 80s action movies. I mean, I know it's going to be straight up cheese fest, but you know what? I am here for it. Next up, this was one I was going to get regardless because I've never seen it, never even heard of it. But then I think this is kind of cool. It's like if you're a card collector like I am as well, you have a lot of people who collect, we'll say, sample cards, promotional cards, things that are not really supposed to hit the market, so to speak. They're kind of for the dealer only or for some kind of special event. Well, this is a demo tape of Adrenaline without the E with Christopher Lambert, or Lambert maybe, I think he's French or whatnot, and Natasha Henrich, who I believe is from the Species movies. But when it's right there, he says demo tape there, so that's kind of already unique in itself. It's a Dimension film, and on the back here, or on the VHS you see there, it'll actually should say on there, demo tape somewhere. Fear the Rush. Yeah, it says demo tape, not for sale or rent. So, and it has a sticker on the side where it's this Dimension, which is cool. Dimension, of course, is the same company who did like the Scream movies and all that. And on the back here, it doesn't talk a lot about the different, the film itself. Is talking more about who's in this movie, trying to sell it to the proprietor of the VHS, the movie store. So this is them trying to say, hey, buy this movie because it's going to be a theatrical release, or it's coming to your neck of the woods, pick it up because of these great actors or actresses. So it also has some, it says featuring sexy Natasha Henrich, and it's co-starring hard-hitting Christopher Lambert in Highlander 1, 2, 3, and Mortal Kombat. And then Natasha's in Maximum Risk and Species, which I was right. And so Hollywood hits 1997, so boom. So super excited about that, and hopefully those will come crashing down. Next up, The Last Starfighter right here. This is directed by Nick Castle. People, the little wink and nod to the crowd who might be still watching this. Nick Castle is the original Shape, aka Michael Myers in the original Halloween, John Carpenter. He went on to be a director. He did direct quite a few things. This probably being the most famous of the things he directed. But most people think he's just like the guy who played the Shape for the entire Halloween movie, aside from one key part. But yes, he went on to direct quite a few films, and I believe also TV shows. But The Last Starfighter is one of those movies I really liked. And you have Catherine Mary Stewart, which she's great. She's in lots of 80s stuff. I think she was in Chopping Mall, and I think some other stuff. But anyways, I have not seen this since probably the mid-80s when it first came out, so I'm excited to see that. And then there you go, the VHS itself. So there you have it. Next up, I picked this up purely because of a couple things. One, the tagline is, the Bayou had its own law, and they just broke it. Southern Comfort. So you have Keith Carradine, Powers Booth, Fred Ward, and Peter Coyote in this. I've heard about this film. I've never seen it before. It's a Walter Hill directed movie. This has to be right in the mid-80s. I bet mid to late 80s when he did this. I don't remember much about it. And if I've seen it, I forgot it. So you have Southern Comfort. And I just was super excited about this. It might be completely just garbage. But, Walter Hill's a great director. And so I want to give it a shot. Next up, this is purely cheese fest. This is From Dusk Till Dawn Part 3, The Hangman's Daughter. I mean, this is pretty garbage. I've already seen it back when it first came out. Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I think there might be producers on this, but the main reason I got it was Kevin Smith's in here, Danny Trejo's in here, which I really like. Rebecca Gayhart's in it before she kills somebody with her car. Michael Parks and Orlando Jones is in here, and then Timura Morrison, who plays Boba Fett, I think, in all the movies later on. He ended up playing Boba Fett, if I'm not mistaken. But Michael Parks has been in a ton of Quentin Tarantino stuff. And so anyways, I want to get this because, one, I don't think I've ever went back to revisit it. I mean, again, the reason why I got all these, let's be honest, 50 cents. 50 cents. If this was more than 50 cents, I would have passed. However, on this one, I might not have passed because I am super pumped about getting this one. I am thrilled to death to get this movie. I don't think I've seen this since it came out in like 90, whatever this probably came out, 90, it says what year this came out, 90, I'm going to say like 92 or 93. I don't know if it says on here. Does it say on here somewhere? I don't see it. My Boyfriend's Back, and you're going to be in trouble. So this is Sean S. Cunningham, who did the Friday the 13th. Sean S. Cunningham is the producer of this, and Bob Balaban, he's an actor and a director. He was in this. But My Boyfriend's Back, and you're going to be in trouble. The company that proves true love never dies. They were ahead of the curve when it came to zombie-ish type films. I do not remember hardly anything about this, but I remember this was being so awful in a good way. The outrageously wild comedy. Harry Manfredini, who also did the Friday the 13th score, did the music for this as well. I am super thrilled to watch this movie. I have not seen it forever. There it is. I remember even when I saw it in the theater or I saw it on VHS for the first time, it was like, just a hot mess. I mean, I guess the best they did was just give him kind of like white powdery makeup, and that was enough to make him be like a zombie. Next up was purely just the box looks like it never been opened before, like it never been touched by human hands. I did not have this on VHS. I mean, I did back in the day. I haven't had it forever. There's not really much to say. Back to the Future. It looks like it was just, I just opened it up. There you go, Back to the Future. I mean, there's nothing really to say. I mean, here you go. And I mean, it looks like literally it just was cut out of the cellophane. And there you go. This actually goes for kind of a pretty penny online still. Still the VHS. They have this movie in 4K now, but there is such a fan base for Back to the Future for marks like myself that you love the movie in all its iterations. So, love it. I might keep it. I might end up flipping it and selling it because why not? But more than likely, it'll at least have a little place in my collection for a while. Next up is maybe one of my favorite John Candy movies from the 80s. It's one that no one ever talks about. Armed and Dangerous. Love this movie so much. This was PG-13, 87. That's when this came out. And again, I don't think I've seen this movie since it first came out back in the day. I love that. That was such a, I think this is what is it? RCA Columbia Pictures. Yeah. They always do these like really nice, dark, deep colored stickers. Like where so many of them are like really just faded or crap. They do a good job with it. So again, there's not really much to say. Eugene Levy's also in this. Eugene Levy from Schitt's Creek or American Pie films. Or he's one of the Christopher Guest guys that's in there. But Eugene Levy also is in this, and he's great. This is a comedy tandem, if you will. Robert LaGuardia is in here. I forgot about that. So anyways, there you go. Now this is a pleasure. This is a what do you call it? This is a canon film. This is a guilty pleasure. Chuck Norris, Louis Gossett Jr., Fire Walker. This is fantabulous. Fire Walker. See, as I was telling you before, this is just like some stamp. They just stamped these VHS. I like the Armed and Dangerous ones. It's like a nice, bright, and beautiful sticker. But you have Fire Walker. I actually just seen this a couple years ago. Again, for after like years of not seeing it. It's essentially Indiana Jones. I mean, it's like a buddy cop without the cop part. But they kind of take parts of Lethal Weapon, parts of Indiana Jones, and kind of mesh it together for this. And if you know anything about Canon Films and the cousins that ran it, they would just like take any idea. They're from Israel. They would take any idea, and the reason I tell you that because they don't. I didn't think they. Most people would say they never really understood about American culture or traditions or films or dramas or comedies. They just took whatever they thought was cool or liked or was hot at the time and threw it all together and said, "Let's make this movie." So, Lethal Weapon was popular. Indiana Jones was popular. They came up with an idea where you put them together, and that was Firewalker. Next one up here, I have not seen this. I used to watch part one with my mom all the time. My mom loved that movie. I don't know how much my mom loved this movie, but they made a part two. I think it was complete garbage, but because I am the biggest, nowadays especially, Kristy Swanson fan, it's Mannequin 2 on the move with Hollywood, which you would never get away with that. Meshach Taylor would never be able to probably do that character again because it's just so over the top. People would be super offended now. I mean, I don't even know if, I don't know if Meshach Taylor in real life was gay or not, but a character that over the top nowadays would not be acceptable, probably regardless if he's gay or not, because they'd be going into stereotypes. But he went by the character Hollywood. He was the only one that was, I believe, a holdover from the original film series or the original film. But I remember him, of course, in Designing Women. I loved him in the first Mannequin movie. This one, part two. I'm not. Who is the guy in this? This guy. Oh, William Ragsdale. Whoa, William Ragsdale from Gremlins. Is that right? Is that was that the same William Ragsdale from Gremlins? Hold on, wait. Is that right? Wow, William Ragsdale's in this. Huh. I am pretty excited about that. Okay, and Kristy Swanson, again, like I said. So anyways, guys, I don't know. I am definitely watching this. I have not seen it. I can only imagine it being like a hot mess in every conceivable way. But I am definitely watching it because the first one was amazing. I loved watching it so much. So there you have it. Next up, I only got this because purely it was sealed. And it was I've never heard of it. It's very interesting. It's called Sweet Talker. Sweet Talker right here. And it has Brian Brown and Karen Allen in it. So there you have that. I don't know anything about it, but it's sealed and it went for some decent money. So I will probably not open it. I will purely just bought it to resell. It says Harry Reynolds could talk the stripes off a zebra and the smile off a Cheshire cat, but this time he's in over his head. So there you go. All right, next one up. There's no introduction really that need to be made. There's a lot of talk around the new Flash movie with Batman. Michael Keaton is back as Batman. They stole the idea from the Marvel when Marvel decided to do their, meta universe or what their universe or what they call. I forgot what all of a sudden what they call it. It's been like a hot minute since I watched a Marvel movie. But when they, cross the streams and there's multiple different universes now, well, now Flash is doing it with the Flash movie. I think it's called Flashpoint or something. And it's essentially the same idea where Flash goes to different universes. Well, he ends up in the original Batman universe from 1989, and Michael Keaton is in the trailer. It came out during the Super Bowl. So everybody is like losing their mind because the modern day Batman, which is Ben Affleck, was in the movie. Michael Keaton as Batman is in the movie. And I got this because, this is classic. This is just like the Back to the Future. When you see this image, you immediately go back to your childhood. I'm back I'm like 11-year-old Jason watching this. I saw it in the theater. I love this movie so much. And by far, Michael Keaton is my Batman. Hashtag my Batman is Michael Keaton. So there you go. I cannot wait to see that. And even though I cannot stand Ezra Miller, he is a messed up individual. I gotta be careful what I say. But he is a disturbing individual. Not a fan. Next up, codename Wild Geese. Wild Geese. This is some kind of exploitation 80s movie, maybe grindhouse film where you have Ernest Borgnine, Lee Van Cleef, Mimsy Farmer, and Klaus Kinski. Now, is that what in the world? Now, if that is not a list of actors, I don't know what to tell you. That is a wild group of people. So you have Klaus Kinski, Ernest Borgnine, Lee Van Cleef. I am all kinds of excited about this. I've never seen this movie before. Codename Wild Geese. I don't even know what to tell you guys. This is apparently on the border of Burma, Thailand, and Laos, the Golden Triangle, Southeast Asian sector. A strong drug hold is there in a high density tropical forest. And I guess these guys are going to take care of business in this area. So we'll see. This is a corporation. Their business is war. For them, the jungle and the city are the same. Womp, womp, womp. All right. I know, we're going on, dude. We're going to close in on 30 minutes. Next up is the original and uncut television series, Star Trek. This one is called The Enterprise Incident. I got this because, one, it was, 50 cents. Let's not talk about that. The real reason is because apparently this one goes for decent money also online. I'd never seen this before, but as you can see here, it looks like William Shatner, Captain Kirk, looks like a Vulcan with the eyes and the hair and the ears and everything. So who knows? Or maybe he's a Romulan. I'm not for sure what he's supposed to be. But anyways, I want to see this because you have William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, guest star Joanne Linville from 1968. I guess this is just a specific episode on VHS, but the big thing is episode 59. But the big thing is it is uncut. But again, pretty good money. Next up is, when I saw this, even though it was like only 40 minutes long, hosted by Leslie Nielsen, World's Funniest Commercials. I love stuff like this when I was younger. I loved watching they have like, during the 80s and 90s, they would have like an hour long, in the evenings, like on the weekends, an hour long, hosted by Leslie Nielsen or whatever, hosted by some kind of comedian, where they would just go through commercials that are from America, around the world, where they were just hilarious. And I remember sitting there with my family, laughing my butt off because some of the stuff was so hilarious. And they released this in like 1994. So I'm like, please God, let a lot of these be like 80s and 90s based commercials, so I can go down a nostalgia trip. And even if I don't keep it, I watch it once or a couple of times and then resell it or flip it. It will be a great time down memory lane. I'm a huge Leslie Nielsen fan. Leslie Nielsen from The Naked Gun. Also, he was in Day of the Animals, which you gotta watch Day of the Animals. If you've not seen William Girdler's Day of the Animals with Leslie Nielsen fights a grizzly bear. And let's just say Leslie Nielsen was never the same. My last one, I was so pumped that it ends perfectly on this last one. I didn't really make it out to be that way, but it works out great. I couldn't believe I found this in the wild. I am so thrilled. I kind of showed it a little bit last night, but it is a Coliseum video. And if you remember, if you're a wrestling fan in the 80s, Coliseum Video was thebomb.com.org.edu.gov. And so right here is the Superstars, the music video. There you go. So WWF Superstars, the music video. Bonus footage of the making of the music video. So as you can see here, I think I can name everybody on here. Undertaker. I think that's Crush. Tatanka. Oh my gosh. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Big Boss Man. Mr. Perfect. Macho Man Randy Savage. And the Hitman Bret Hart. So there you go. I did it. So here on the back it says, so I guess this is only maybe not even an hour long, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. 45 minutes exactly. There I go. So you have WrestleMania, the World Wrestling Federation starts. So I guess there's a music video called WrestleMania. Second, they have a video / song called SummerSlam Jam, World Wrestling Federation Superstars. So I guess these are superstars singing these songs. I cannot wait. Please God, it's going to be gold. Next up, you have a song called USA, sung by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Then Speaking from the Heart, Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh my gosh, this is like the gift that keeps on giving. And then there's an exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of them making the music video. So guys, please, I cannot wait to watch this. I'm going to probably put it on tonight. So let me know what you all think, guys. Here's all my videos, all my VHS. I got like, I don't even know, 20 or so, 15 VHS. I got them off for like $11 bucks, $12 bucks. Let me know what you think at the bottom of this video. Comment, please. Like, share, all that stuff. You know the drill. And I like when people say stuff like, smash that like button.